Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a technology that isn't just changing our world, it's actually changing our relationship with energy itself. We're talking about solar power. We're going to explore how we're tapping into the incredible power of the sun and making it work for us, right here on Earth.
Think about that question for a second. It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? But it's really not. This is happening right now. Solar is no longer some niche, far-off idea. It's becoming a powerful and, really practical solution that's giving millions of people more control over their power than ever before.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the magic of sunlight. That's the basic science. Then we'll jump into the solar revolution to look at the wild economics behind all this growth. After that, powering your world. What does this all mean for you at home? And we'll wrap it all up by looking ahead to the dawn of solar.
All right, let's get into it. How exactly do we take pure sunlight and turn it into the electricity that powers our lives? Well, it all starts with a little bit of physics. You could almost call it magic, happening on rooftops all over the world.
This is the key. The whole thing hinges on something called the photovoltaic effect. And get this, it was first observed way back in 1839 by a physicist named Edmund Becquerel, who was only 19 years old at the time. He just noticed that a special cell he'd built produced more electricity when light hit it. That single discovery is literally the engine that drives the entire solar industry today. So how does it actually work? It's kind of a beautiful four-step dance that happens in an instant. First, tiny particles of light, called photons, travel from the sun and slam into the panel's silicon cells. When they hit, they knock electrons loose from their atoms. Now you've got all these free-flowing electrons, and that flow is an electric current, specifically direct current, or DC. Think of it like water flowing one way down a river. The thing is, our homes run on alternating current, or AC. So that's the final step. A little box called an inverter converts that DC power into AC power we can actually use.
Okay, so how much power you actually get depends on a couple of things. One is solar irradiation. That's just a fancy term for how much sun is hitting a certain spot. The other is the panel's conversion efficiency. And as you can see here, not all panels are created equal. The two main types you'll see are monocrystalline, which are more efficient because they're made from a single pure silicon crystal, and then you have polycrystalline, which are a bit cheaper but less efficient. There's also a newer type called glass-glass modules, which are super durable. But really, it always comes down to a trade-off. Do you pay more upfront for better performance or not? The good news is that choice gets easier every year.
And that brings us to the economics. Because this technology isn't just a scientific marvel, it's become an absolute economic powerhouse. The story of solar this century is really a story about one thing, cost, and how that cost has just plummeted.
This quote really says it all. For decades, anytime you talked about solar, the first thing people would say is, but it's so expensive. That was the narrative. And what the International Renewable Energy Agency is saying here is, that story is over. The narrative has completely changed.
And wow, this number really drives that point home. A nearly 60% drop in cost in just a single decade. To put that into perspective, that rate of cost decline is faster than almost any other major technology in history. It's just a massive, seismic shift that's made solar the cheapest form of new electricity in a lot of places around the world. It's a total game changer.
And this didn't just happen overnight. It's been a long journey, from that initial discovery back in 1839 to the big breakthrough at Bell Labs in the 50s. But look at that timeline. The real explosion, the thing that changed everything, happened from 2009 onwards. That's when manufacturing just exploded. Prices fell through the floor, and it put us on the path to where we are today, with solar expected to be the biggest source of electricity in the world by 2050.
So what's the secret sauce here? Well, it's something called a learning curve, and it creates this amazing virtuous cycle. As the price drops, more people install solar panels, right? That increased demand means bigger factories and better tech, which, you guessed it, drives the price down even more. It's a feedback loop that just keeps accelerating this whole revolution. Okay, so let's bring this massive global revolution right down to your street, and maybe even to your roof. Because this isn't just about huge solar farms out in the desert. It's about what this tech means for you, for your family, for your home.
For, 100 years, the model was super simple. The utility company made the power and you paid for it. End of story. But solar just completely flips that script. When you generate your own power, you're not just a customer anymore. You're a producer. You actually become part of the grid, and that is so important as our demand for electricity keeps growing with things like electric cars and heat pumps.
And the advantages for you, the homeowner, are so real and tangible.
I mean, modern panels are incredibly tough. They're often guaranteed for 25 years or even more, and they need barely any maintenance. So what you get is a predictable, stable source of your own energy for decades. That means more energy independence, and if you pair it with a battery, way more resilience when the power goes out.
So, where is all of this going? We've talked about the science, we've talked about the economics. Now, let's look to the horizon, to the future of a planet that is increasingly powered by the sun. And honestly, the scale of what's coming is pretty hard to overstate.
See, the future isn't just about making power, it's about managing it intelligently. The next big step is pairing solar panels with smart batteries. That way, you can store all that extra energy you generate during the day and use it at night. You could even sell it back to the grid when prices are high. It gives you, the homeowner, a level of control over your energy that was just unthinkable a generation ago. And this isn't just some dream for a few homeowners. This is a core part of national strategies now. Look at these numbers. The US is aiming for solar to power 40% of the entire country by 2035. The UK is targeting a 5-fold increase. Governments all over the world are betting big on solar. It's becoming the cornerstone of a climate-neutral energy future for all of us.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. The technology is here. The economics work. So the question is no longer if we can power our world with the sun. The real question is how we are going to use this incredible tool. Are we going to stay passive consumers, or are we going to become active participants? Solar gives us the chance to build a cleaner, more resilient, and more independent energy future. The choice is really becoming ours.